Hey guys, gear review time today, and we're at Warringah Basin. If you've been here, you know it's an awesome little spot. We just thought we'd come down here and do some gear reviews for the first time today. So I'm gonna start doing a few bits and pieces on gear reviews and just have a look at some of the products we use and some of the good and bad about all sorts of different things that I've found. So hopefully it's not too windy. I can feel a bit of wind, so hopefully it's not too bad and you can hear me okay and the audio is okay. So today we are going to be looking at the ProQuip Jerry Can. Made in Australia, this is the plastic jerry can designed as per the sticker for water, which is really, really important. If you're going camping, there's one thing that is super, super important, and that is water. And storing water and being able to access it as easily as possible. So we'll talk about this. Like any jerry can, you think, oh, there's not much to talk about, but we're going to talk about the product, and I think something as simple as a jerry can should work really, really well. So, and this, for me and what I've seen, does. The only thing that I have noticed, the only negative that I've noticed is two things. One, this cap on top, right? Does screw up pretty tight, but I have noticed it does sometimes leak, and therefore I highly recommended keeping it in the upright position if you're storing it. Some people put them on their side and they're probably okay, but just keep an eye on that. That's just one thing to consider is, if it's leaking or not. The only other negative is if you've got this sitting on a table full of water, on one of those plastic trestle tables that we all have. I've sat it on there once before, and just be careful, they are super slippery. The base is super slippery. So if you sit it on a table and it's full, and we all know they get quite a bit of weight behind them, it just slid off completely. So if you're on a bit of uneven surface down the river, or like we all have, it's very hard to find a bit of level ground, then this, just keep an eye on that. You might want to put one of those non-slip mats underneath just on the table so it doesn't just go sliding off, especially if you've got kids and that sort of thing using it. So they're probably the only two negatives. Apart from that, it does its job. It carries and holds water really, really well. Now, you look at this and straight away, like all of us think it's 20 litres. It's not, it's 22 litres this is designed to carry, and it says it on the sticker here at the front. Most importantly though, it's a water jerry can, and we all know what we want with water. Now, some people struggle to taste the difference in water, but if you're like me, you can definitely taste the difference from town water to another town's water. And so this does taste like water. What I would recommend, just giving it wash it out a couple of times and empty it. And if you're filling it up with a hose, new hoses always taste like hose. So my advice is give it a good rinse before you use it, then fill it up. It'll taste like water. It is BPA free, and yeah, it does taste like water, so just keep that in mind. It doesn't taste like plastic after a while. So yeah, you've got your main cap on the front, which is connected, so that's really, really important. So you're not going to lose it, especially out in the bush. Everything just blows away. And as you can see, the breather cap here is already undone, and it's also retained to the container. And what that does is that just allows some air in so that you get flow out the tap a lot easier with the main lid on. Okay, so that's just one thing to consider. Now, if you've seen reviews with these, they do come with a free tap inside the cap. It almost rhymes, doesn't it? Anyway, undo the cap, and there you have the tap. Now that tap unscrews and pretty much goes straight into this hole here. Okay, you can undo that, plug it straight back in. All right, screw it in. The only thing you need to be careful about, if you turn it on and off, sometimes it can actually loosen where you screw it in. So that's just one thing to consider. I've done it before too, where you go to turn it on and off and you actually loosen the thread, and all of a sudden you've got water leaking out. So that's just one thing to keep in mind and just be a little bit careful of, and just feel for leaks. And that's why a lot of the time when I take this, if you're traveling on a lot of rough roads and bits and pieces, I would never ever leave the tap in. I would always put this little cap back in because it sits flush, so it's not gonna knock against things and bits and pieces. The only thing I have done in my ute, which is I've unscrewed that and I've put a little tap on here, which then runs to a hose, which I've got out the back of my ute, and that's just a gravity fed water system. There's no pump or anything like that, but it works fine for what I need. So I have got one of these always in the car with a hose, so that for that reason it stays connected. But I really like to keep an eye on it, because all of a sudden you have 22 litres of water floating around in the back of your car. It's probably not ideal, so just keep an eye on them. Yeah, I do that, so it's also handy for that. Best thing to consider is this is pretty light, okay? Anything, you get a few of these and all of a sudden you fill them up and you've got kilos and kilos of added weight to your car. I mean, you always need water no matter where you go camping, but to start off with, this container is super light, which always really helps. But yeah, now the only other thing, they are pretty expensive. I decided to go for the expensive jerry cans, and I've been happy with them so far, apart from those couple of things that I mentioned, just to keep in mind. But apart from that, they've been actually pretty good. So yeah, I highly recommend checking out the ProQuip Jerry Can. But yeah, wait for a sale, because they are fairly expensive. That's all I can say is, yeah, check them out. And yeah, if you've got any questions about the ProQuip Jerry Can, feel free to ask in the comments below, and I'll try and get back to you. But they're well worth checking out and buying one for yourself. Hey guys, so I just wanted to quickly show you, in addition to that last video, I was saying what I've got a jerry can behind the fridge here, just standing up, and basically a hose, and just with the tap on the end. There's no water in here at the moment, but yeah, just gravity fed, but it's handy because you can have that full and still be at the back of the car, so it's, yeah, pretty handy. So if you're looking for something extra and checking out, go and, yeah, bit of hose and a few little tap fittings cheap from Bunnings or somewhere, and yeah, put it together. It's just easy, because if you pull up, you can easily get access to water. There's no getting in the back and yeah, trying to get access to water. So yeah, check it out. Yeah, well worth doing.